Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, I will be explaining about the Quit India movement. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into today's video. So as I have just told to you, today's video is about the Quit India movement. So today's video we are going to see about the Quit India movement. Quit India movement. So in the last video we have seen till the elections of 1937. Now let us see what happened after that. Quit India movement in 1942. So now the Indians were upset because the British had forcefully made them participate in the World War. So what the British did? The British sent Stafford Cripps. And he was sent to persuade the Indians to support the British war effort. So Stafford Cripps was sent to India to make Indians agree to support the British in the World War, British war effort. For this purpose, they sent Stafford Cripps. It was very famous as the Cripps mission. So this Cripps mission was sent to India by the British to persuade Indians or to make the Indians agree to support the British war effort. And for that purpose, what did British do? They gave an offer to the Indians. The British gave some offer to the Indians. They offered Indians dominion status. First thing is dominion status. Dominion status means it is like almost an equal status with the British. So dominion status. Then it also offered an interim government of the Indians, and this interim government of Indians. So that was an offer given to the Indians, and this interim government can administer all matters except defense. So this was an offer given to Indians. So once more I will tell. The British gave some offer to Indians, that is Indians will be given dominion status, that is almost equal status to the British, and Indians can have a interim government which can take decisions on all matters except defense. But the thing was that this proposal, this offer will come into effect only if the Indians proposal will come into effect only if Indians support the British in the World War. Support the British. So this was the clause or the agreement kept by the British. So British said if Indians support the British in the World War, then Indians will be given dominion status and interim government. This was the offer given to the Indians by the Cripps mission or by Stafford Cripps. But this proposal was rejected by Congress and Muslim League. So Indians understood that this is a technique of the British, and Congress and Muslim League, both of them, what they did, they rejected the proposal. They did not agree to the proposal. So this proposal given by the British was rejected by Congress and Muslim League. And Mahatma Gandhi was also against this proposal. Mahatma Gandhi called this proposal as a post-dated check of a drowning bank. That is, he made fun of the British and said that this is a post-dated check of a drowning bank. That is, already the bank is drowning, and after that already it is a post-dated check. The check can be drawn only after some days. By that time the bank will not be there. So it is like a post-dated check of a drowning bank. That is, Mahatma Gandhi said that if the British will not agree to the promise after the World War, then the Indians cannot do anything. So it was like a postdated check. That means the British is not going to give all these things. Once the Indians will support and finally the British is not agreeing to all these, then it is a loss for Indians. So both Congress and Muslim League did not agree to this. And after this, All India Congress Committee had a meeting. All India Congress Committee had a meeting. The meeting was held in August 1942, 8th August 1942. It was held at Bombay. And in this meeting, they adopted the very famous Quit India Resolution. Quit India Resolution. So this was the most famous incident in the freedom movement. That is, the All India Congress Committee met on 8th August 1942 in Bombay, and they adopted the Quit India Resolution, and the leader of the movement was Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was asked to lead the movement, and Gandhiji gave the very famous slogan, "Do or die." That is, either we get freedom or we die for our freedom. So Mahatma Gandhi called Stafford Cripps proposal or the Cripps mission as a post-dated check of a drowning bank. And after that, All India Congress Committee held a meeting on 8th August 1942 in Bombay, and they adopted the Quit India Resolution. Gandhiji was its leader, and Gandhiji gave the famous slogan, "Do or die." So now what happened in the Quit India movement? So that time, Jinnah, he was the leader of Muslim League. Jinnah was the leader of Muslim League. He asked the Muslims not to participate in the movement. So he asked Muslims not to participate in the Quit India movement. Now the All India Congress Committee had given the call for Quit India movement, but Jinnah, who was the leader of Muslim League, told the Muslims not to participate in the Quit India movement. Now the British government arrested all the prominent Congress leaders. So the government arrested all the main Congress leaders, including Gandhiji. Okay, including Gandhiji, many leaders were arrested. And one more thing they did, they banned the Congress. Congress itself, that organization, was banned by the British government. So government arrested all the leaders, including Gandhiji, and they banned the Congress. Now the people started to act however they wanted. The problem was that there was no leader, because all the main leaders were arrested, and without leader they started acting however they wanted, or we can say that they started doing violent activities. So they started doing however they wanted, especially they started going into violence. And in this situation, more than 10,000 people died. 10,000 people died, and they died mainly in military firing and fight with the British, and all these things happened, and more than 10,000 people died. And the national movement later was continued in a different way by Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose came as the next leader, because all other major leaders were arrested. He was very famous as Netaji, and he continued the national movement in a different way. So now Jinnah asked the Muslims not to participate in the movement. Government arrested all the leaders, including Gandhiji, and they banned the Congress. The people without a leader started doing violent activities like what they wanted, and more than 10,000 people were killed. And finally, British was able to suppress the movement. Later, the national movement was continued in a different way by Subhash Chandra Bose. He was very famous as Netaji. Now, what was the activities done by Subhash Chandra Bose? So, Subhash Chandra Bose, he was very famous as a Netaji. He was kept under house arrest during the movement. That is, he was kept under house arrest. He was not able to come out. He was kept under house arrest. But later, he escaped from there, and he reached Calcutta. He escaped from Calcutta, and later he reached Germany. So he escaped from Calcutta and he reached Germany. First he was under house arrest, then he escaped from Calcutta and he reached Germany. And there he tried to get the help of Mussolini and Hitler, the two dictators, Mussolini and Hitler. He tried to get the help from them. Later he reached Japan, and in Japan what he did is he recruited many Indians who resided in Southeast Asia. So from Southeast Asia, Indians were recruited. He recruited many Indians who were staying in Southeast Asia. And after recruiting these Indians, he formed the very famous Indian National Army. Indian National Army, also called as INA, was started by Subhash Chandra Bose. So Subhash Chandra Bose, in the beginning he was under house arrest, and from Calcutta he escaped and he reached Germany, and he tried to get the help of Mussolini and Hitler. Later he reached Japan, and there what he did, he recruited many Indians who were in Southeast Asia, and then he formed the Indian National Army, and this Indian National Army was formed with the help of Raj Bihari Bose. So Subhash Chandra Bose was helped by Raj Bihari Bose to form the Indian National Army. So now what happened was, in this Indian National Army, the Indian soldiers of the British Army, so in British Army many Indian soldiers were working. So the Indian soldiers who were in the British Army who had surrendered to Japan during the war. So during the war, many Indian soldiers had surrendered, many Indian soldiers in the war had surrendered to Japan. Those Indian soldiers, what they did is, those Indian soldiers, they joined the Indian National Army. They joined INA. So once more I will tell, there were many Indian soldiers in British Army who had surrendered to Japan. That Indian soldiers joined INA, that is Indian National Army. And this Indian National Army also had a women's wing. Okay, this women's wing of Indian National Army was led by Captain Lakshmi. Captain Lakshmi was the leader of the women's wing of Indian National Army. And this Indian National Army, with the support of Japan, they captured some places. So Indian National Army, with the support of Japan, captured the islands of Andaman and Nicobar. So this was another achievement of Indian National Army. And there what they did, after capturing Andaman and Nicobar, they hoisted the tricolor flag in 1943. The tricolor flag was hoisted in Andaman and Nicobar in 1943 by INA. So Indian soldiers who were in the British Army who had surrendered to Japan, they joined INA. INA had a women's wing with the leader Captain Lakshmi. INA, with the support of Japan, captured Andaman and Nicobar Island, and the tricolor flag was hoisted there in 1943. So another thing was, Indian National Army entered the Indian subcontinent. INA entered Indian subcontinent, and they captured almost 10,000 square miles of northeast India. Captured almost 10,000 square miles of northeast India. This was captured. But what happened was, later Japan lost in the war. Japan lost because INA was doing all this with the help of Japan. Japan lost in the war and it suffered a setback. And INA itself suffered a setback because INA was always having the support of Japan. INA suffered setback. And during this time, the main leader of Indian National Army, that is Subhash Chandra Bose, it is said that he died in an air crash. So Subhash Chandra Bose died. So this was about INA. So INA entered Indian subcontinent and captured almost 10,000 square miles of northeast India. And but Japan finally lost in the war and INA had to suffer a setback. Subhash Chandra Bose during that time passed away. And the British captured the soldiers of INA. So INA soldiers, or after Subhash Chandra Bose passed away and INA suffered a setback, INA soldiers were captured by the British, and British put them for trial for treason. These soldiers were put for trial, and this is very famous as INA trials. The trials by the British of the INA soldiers is called as INA trials, and this INA trials was held in Red Fort, Delhi. So the INA soldiers were captured by the British and they were put for trial, very famous as INA trials. It was held in Red Fort, Delhi. So this was about Indian National Army and Subhash Chandra Bose. Now the next topic is about the independence and partition. Independence and partition. So the Labour Party came to power in England. Now what happened in England? Labour Party, they came to power in England after the Second World War. Now Second World War came to an end and Labour Party came to power and Clement Attlee became the Prime Minister. Clement Attlee became the Prime Minister. And what they did, Clement Attlee, he deputed a cabinet mission to India. A cabinet mission was deputed, it was sent to India by Clement Attlee in the year 1946. And this cabinet mission, it held many discussions. Many discussions were held, and after the discussions, finally it rejected the creation of Pakistan. Cabinet mission sent by Clement Attlee held discussions and rejected the creation of Pakistan. And what did they propose? They proposed a federal government. A federal government was proposed for the whole of India. They agreed that they will give a federal government for whole of India and formation of constituent assembly through elections. So India can have constituent assemblies, which can be formed through elections, and it can have a federal government. So this was what was discussed in the cabinet mission, a federal government for India and a constituent assembly which can be formed through elections. So this was the discussions held in the cabinet meeting by Clement Attlee. But it rejected the formation of Pakistan. With this, Muslim League rejected this. Muslim League was not happy because the demand for Pakistan was rejected. And Muslim League rejected this, and their leader Jinnah, he called for a direct action day. They wanted Pakistan, so they rejected and they called for a direct action day. And this resulted in communal violence. So there was a lot of communal problem, communal violence at many places, killing, bloodshed, all these things happened. Now that time, a constituent assembly was established, as agreed. The constituent assembly was established under the chairmanship of Rajendra Prasad. The constituent assembly was established on 9th December 1946. And here Lord Mountbatten became the Viceroy of India. Lord Mountbatten became the Viceroy of India. Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. So here he was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. Lord Mountbatten became the Viceroy of India. And with this, a plan called as Mountbatten Plan. So, okay, a new plan, that is, the plan's name is Mountbatten Plan. This plan was announced by Prime Minister Attlee, Clement Attlee, announced this Mountbatten Plan, and this Mountbatten Plan was announced on 2nd June 1947, and that is why it is also called as June Plan, because it is announced on 2nd June, that is why it is called as June Plan. So the Muslim League rejected the discussions by the committee, and Jinnah called for a direct action day. Communal violence started to happen. Constituent Assembly was formed with the chairmanship of Dr. Rajendra Prasad on 9th December 1946. Lord Mountbatten became the Viceroy of India, and Lord Mountbatten Plan was announced by Clement Attlee on 2nd June 1947, which is very famous as the June Plan, because it was announced on 2nd June. And this plan was introduced in the British Parliament. The plan, Mountbatten Plan or June Plan, it was introduced in the British Parliament, and ratified on 18th July. It was later, on 18th July, it was renamed, it was ratified as Independence of India Act. Independence of India Act 1947. So the Mountbatten Plan, which was also called as the June Plan, was introduced in the British Parliament, and later 18th July it was ratified into Independence of India Act 1947. And with this, the British decided that the British Indian possessions, all the possessions which is British Indian possessions, it was divided into India and Pakistan. All the British Indian possessions was divided into India and Pakistan. And Pakistan became independent on 14th August, and India became independent on 15th August 1947. So this is about the independence and partition. So Pakistan became independent on 14th August and India 15th August 1947. So the British Indian possessions were divided finally into India and Pakistan, and the independence of India on 15th August 1947. And after the independence, Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister, and Lord Mountbatten became the Governor General. So after independence, Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister, and Lord Mountbatten became the Governor General. And see, Lord Mountbatten was the last British Governor General of India and first of independent India. If we see British India, he was a last Governor General. If we see independent India, he was the first Governor General. And Vallabhbhai Patel, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he was the Deputy Prime Minister, and he was responsible for reorganization of the princely states, princely Indian states to Indian Federation, reorganization of the princely states. So how they should join the Indian Federation, that and all was under Vallabhbhai Patel, reorganization of princely states. He was the Deputy Prime Minister. Vallabhbhai Patel was very famous as Sardar, that is why he is called as Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He is also called as the Iron Man of India. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is also called as the Iron Man of India. So after independence, Jawaharlal Nehru-first Prime Minister, Lord Mountbatten Governor General, Vallabhbhai Patel, Deputy Prime Minister, he was responsible for the reorganization of the princely states into Indian Federation. Vallabhbhai Patel was also called as Sardar, and he was very famous as the Iron Man of India. And afterwards, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee of Indian Constitution. He was the chairman of the drafting committee of Indian Constitution, Okay, and the constitution was brought into effect finally on 26 January 1950, and India became a republic. So this is how India became a republic. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee of Indian Constitution, and the constitution was brought into effect. See, finally constitution was brought into effect on 26 January 1950, and India became a republic. So this is the story of the independence and partition of India. Now we have to see the points which we have studied till now. Quit India Movement 1942. The British sent Stafford Cripps, popular as Cripps Mission, to India to persuade the Indians to support the British war effort. India was offered dominion status and an interim government of Indians to administer all matters except defense. But the proposal would come into effect only after the war. The Indians were to extend their support to British immediately. Congress and Muslim League rejected the proposal, and Mahatma Gandhi called it as Postdated Cheque of a drowning bank. The All India Congress Committee met on 8th August 1942 at Bombay, and they adopted the Quit India resolution and asked Gandhiji to lead the movement. Gandhiji gave the famous slogan, "Do or die." Jinnah, who was the leader of the Muslim League, asked the Muslims not to participate in the movement. Government arrested all the prominent Congress leaders, including Gandhiji, and banned the Congress. People started to act as they wanted because there was no leader. They resorted to strikes, processions, picketing, attacking police stations, etc. The movement started turning violent at many places, and more than 10,000 people died in police and military firing, and the British were able to suppress the movement. The national movement was continued in a different way by Subhash Chandra Bose, popular as Netaji. He was kept under house arrest during the movement, and he escaped from Calcutta and reached Germany. He tried to secure the help of Mussolini and Hitler. He reached Japan and recruited many Indians who resided in Southeast Asia. The Indian National Army was formed with the help of Rajbihari Bose. The Indian soldiers of the British Army who surrendered to Japanese during the war joined INA. It also had a women's wing with Captain Lakshmi as the leader. The INA, with the support of Japan, captured Andaman and Nicobar Islands and hoisted the tricolour flag in 1943. They entered the Indian subcontinent and captured 10,000 square miles of northeast India. But Japan lost the war and INA suffered a setback. During this time, Subhash Chandra Bose died in an air crash. The British captured the soldiers of INA and put them to trial for treason. This is famous as INA trials. The first trial was held in Red Fort at Delhi. Independence and partition. The Labour Party came to power in England after the Second World War, and Clement Attlee became the Prime Minister. He captured the Cabinet Mission in India in 1946. It held discussions and rejected the creation of Pakistan. A federal government for the whole of India was proposed, and formation of constituent assembly through elections. The Muslim League rejected it and Jinnah called for Direct Action Day. This resulted in communal violence at many places, bloodshed and killing. The Constituent Assembly was established under the chairmanship of Babu Rajendra Prasad on 9th December 1946. Lord Mountbatten became the Viceroy of India. Mountbatten Plan was announced by Prime Minister Attlee in the House of Commons on 2nd June 1947, and hence it is called as June Plan. It was introduced in British Parliament and ratified on 18th July as Independence of India Act 1947. The British Indian possessions were divided into India and Pakistan. Pakistan became independent on 14th August and India on 15th August 1947. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister, and Mountbatten was made the Governor General. Mountbatten was the last Governor General of British India and first of independent India. Vallabhbhai Patel was the Deputy Prime Minister and was responsible for reorganizing the princely Indian states into Indian Federation. He was called Sardar and Iron Man of India. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee of Indian Constitution. The Constitution was brought into effect on 26 January 1950 and India became a republic. Now let us see some important questions from these parts. Who was famous as Netaji? Subhash Chandra Bose. Expand INA, Indian National Army. Who gave the call for Direct Action Day? Jinnah. Where was the INA trials held? Red Fort at Delhi. Who was popular as Iron Man of India? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Who founded the Swaraj Party? C.R. Das, Motilal Nehru. Which Congress session declared Purna Swaraj as its aim and when was it held? Lahore Congress session in 1929. From where did Gandhiji start the Salt March and where did it culminate? From Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. Who signed the Pune Pact? Gandhiji and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And discuss the role of Gandhiji in Indian national movement. The answer is explained in the video 7.6 part 4 and 5. So I hope you have understood all these points very clearly. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and comments will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.